shared dream is to be a place that celebrates rich history, where learning, laughter, and entertainment come together. A destination where memories and new friends are made. A destination where local flavor and eclectic cuisine meet, and where culture and community connect. Ideas are created and reimagined. We are rising, bigger and bolder. We invite you to discover your urban in downtown Orlando.
Visibility while driving at night can be challenging for drivers, and their failure to see pedestrians is often fatal. In Florida, 75% of pedestrian fatalities occur at night. Many drivers say they never saw the pedestrian. What will it take to see them? Can you see him now? Drivers, look for pedestrians, especially at night. Pedestrians, make sure you are visible. Alert tonight, alive tomorrow. Because safety doesn't happen by accident.
Good afternoon and welcome to the January 27th, 2020 meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation offered by Pastor Howard Harrison, New Beginnings Church. Pastor Howard was born in Brooklyn and was called to the ministry at age 15. He's been the senior pastor at New Beginnings since the last 12 years and also been appointed and installed as the presiding elder of the Florida State Association of Church of God. He oversees and is the apostle for 38 churches in the state of Florida. He is also director of operations at Build a Legacy International, a John Maxwell certified trainer and speaker, and president and CEO of New Beginnings for Life Health and Wellness Company. Pastor Howard is the husband of Shauna Harrison and the father of 8 children. After the invocation, we'll be led in the Pledge of Allegiance today by Reverend Dr. Mike Vidal, OPD chaplain. Reverend Vidal served in the U.S. Army Vietnam era National Guard and retired from the U.S. Navy under medical conditions. He's also served in the Tennessee and Georgia State Guards for 15 years, a senior chaplain, and retired as a colonel. He's been the chaplain for 8 years for the OPD and the Department of Homeland Security. You may stand or remain seated. Invitation.
First.
Yep.
He had the uniform on, so I figured I'd give him the respect. Let's bow our heads. Father, we thank you for grace and mercy and your kindness. We thank you, Father, for a new year. Thank you for all the dignitaries of which are here. God, we honor you, give you praise, we give you glory. And God, we ask you that our city will be blessed this year, greater than we were last year. Father, we ask you for strength, wisdom, and knowledge, and great success in you. In Jesus' name we pray. In agreement, we all say,
Amen.
amen.
Council members, citizens of Orlando, attend. Hut! Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ordered, armed.
Thank you. Okay. Madam Clerk, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Would you call the roll and make a determination of a quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray.
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz.
Here.
Commissioner Stewart.
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan. Here. Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Burns.
Present.
Mayor Dyer.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's take up the minutes from the agenda review
Second.
and city council meetings of January 13th, 2020. Who was the motion maker?
Hill.
Commissioner Hill, Commissioner Stewart.
Okay.
Second. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. That takes us right to awards, presentations, and recognitions. And if our Deputy Chief Financial Officer, Michelle McCrimmon, would come up and talk to us about workplace giving and the results.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Commissioners. I'm happy to come before you once again to give you an update on the 2019-2020 Workplace Giving Initiative. I serve as chair on the committee, and my other co-chairs include Brooke Bonnet from EDV, Gary Fussell from OFD, and Art Eld from OPD. Gary is not able to be here, and Art has since retired from the city. So just a reminder, the Workplace Giving Program allows our employees to give to any charitable organization in good standing with the IRS through payroll deductions. And last year, we engaged a new company to administer this program because our old program, it was very similar to an open enrollment where you signed up, you gave for a year, and then that ended. And so this new program basically allows you to sign up, and it continues until you stop it or change it or end it. And it also allows new employees to come on at any time and allows current employees to join at any time. And so this has been a real benefit for our employees and kind of has that set it and forget it kind of thing. So although it's not a once a year enrollment program anymore, we do use October as more of an awareness time. So we spread awareness to employees. Employees can fundraise and in order to get those donations to the charities of their choosing. So, and we also set up competition. Everybody loves competition, so we set up giving and participation goals for our different departments. So this year our goal was $420,000, and I'm happy to report that city employees pledged over $425,000. That went to over, yes. So those donations go to over 500 different charitable and religious organizations. We also set a goal for 25% of our employees to donate through payroll deductions, and over 30% of our employees signed up to give through payroll deductions. So we have a very generous workforce. So during October, we have, October and November, our departments do hold fundraisers, and so they raised over $12,000 from those fundraising activities. So bake sales, pizza sales, chili sales, ice cream sales, a lot of food, rummage sale, and jeans days. A couple of our more creative fundraisers, the transportation department had a indoor cycling event, and our IT department ran a cutest pet contest. So we had a cutest dog, cutest cat, of course, and then there was an other category. Is there any interest to find out who won the other category?
Please.
Gotta know, right? Peppa Pig won the other category, and Peppa's owner is Fire Deputy Chief Rich Wales.
Ah,
Yeah. So some of the
Sammy will be interested to know who won the dog part of that.
Yeah. I don't have that. I didn't want to
Okay.
cause anybody to get upset. So some of the organizations that will benefit from this campaign include the Orlando Firefighters Benevolent Association, Strengthen Orlando, the Orlando Community and Youth Trust, St. Jude's Children's Hospital, Pet Alliance, Orlando Police Heroes Foundation, Coalition for the Homeless, and Second Harvest Food Bank. So for the city, this amounts to raising about $136 per employee. So while, I know you like to compare to Orange County, Mayor, so while Orange County does raise more dollars per employee, Orange County raises about $86 per employee. So $136 for the city, $86 for Orange County. So this is a huge endeavor, as you can imagine, for the whole city, and I want to be sure to thank some people that did a lot of work for this campaign. So first, I want to recognize Deborah Gerard as the CAO executive sponsor, Amelia Frederick from OBFS. Amelia's over here. She is so dedicated to this campaign that she was supposed to have her baby last week, and she wanted to see this to the very end, to this city council presentation. She's going to kill me, but I can run faster than her. Dorothy Patterson from OPD, Linda Pereira, OFD, Jason Wojciech from OBFS, and Brett Thomas from Communications. And of course, we couldn't do this without our workplace giving coordinators. We've coined them as ambassadors because this is now a year-round awareness to our new employees and existing employees. So can everyone involved in this workplace giving campaign please stand so we can recognize you? So Mayor and Commissioners, we want to recognize the 2 departments that exceeded their goals by the highest amount. So we have an award, Mayor, if you wouldn't mind presenting it. And if I could ask Chief Venues Officers Alan Johnson and Housing Director Orrin Henry to come forward as well to present your award. So for the highest percentage of dollar giving above the goal, venues achieved 305% of their monetary goal. And, yep. For the 3rd year in a row, too, by the way. And for the highest percentage of participation above goal, housing achieved 267% of their participation goal, 2nd year in a row. So 8 of our departments exceeded their monetary goals and 6 departments exceeded their participation goals. And this plaque will be presented to be sustainable. We update it every year and then we have it on display in the 3rd floor of City Hall. Yes. So in closing, I really want to thank our employees for their generosity in the Workplace Giving campaign, and they truly demonstrate that Orlando is a compassionate city. So Mayor, if we can get a picture, and then after we get the picture with the winners and Brooke, if Brooke can come up here as well, I'm hoping anybody that was involved in the campaign can come down for a picture too. Great, thank you.
You know, I'm always so proud of our city family, and especially those on the front lines that make us look so good all the time. We excel in so many different areas, but to excel in generosity is certainly a very important attribute. So thank you to all our city employees for your generosity. Okay, how about we go on to the mayor's update. Why don't I start out? I see a lot of young, eager faces in this council chamber for the first time, and I'm guessing that the new semester at Valencia has started, and you are all here to observe government in action. So if you are a student here to observe, if you would please stand and let us recognize you for being here. This looks like a whole class full. Okay, today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and it's a reminder that we want to help create a society that's free not only of anti-Semitism, but of hate, prejudice, and bigotry in all forms. So today is certainly a day that we want to be mindful, and also we're all looking forward to having the Holocaust Memorial Resource and Education Center moving to downtown. Their fundraising has been going extremely well, and their design work is fantastic. It's going to be a great addition to our downtown. Yesterday we had the Pro Bowl, and for the first time we had good weather. It was a perfect Chamber of Commerce day. I know that the broadcast all over the country was certainly made people in the Northeast and well, anywhere north where it's really cold, envious of being able to be out in shirt sleeves and watch 88 of the best NFL football players come to Orlando with their families. And we're thankful for our relationship with the NFL and being able to host the Pro Bowl. I have a goal of being America's premier future-ready city. And towards that goal, we're working on a master plan to ensure that we continue to advance and embrace new opportunities. So I want to invite anyone to join us for our first public meeting Tuesday, February 4th at Beardall to discuss the challenges and opportunities related to becoming America's premier future-ready city. I'd also like you to invite you to the 15th Annual Neighborhood and Community Summit on Saturday, March 7th. Last year we had over 300 residents and community leaders. You can register online at orlando.gov/summit. And then I also want to call attention to the item on other, number 2, which is Commissioner Sheehan's district fund contributing $50,000 towards the Orlando Land Trust. We had some folks that came to agenda review to speak on that, and I see that they're here to make sure we actually pass it on consent and didn't take that for granted, so I appreciate you staying. And then one thing that I didn't have on my agenda, but I will mention, and probably don't want to steal Commissioner Gray's thunder, but we opened McCoy Community Park, had a, well, we didn't have a ribbon cutting. A bunch of us threw out the first pitch for the first Little League or Babe Ruth baseball game that was going to be played, and it is a beautiful park, another jewel in the assets of our great parks that we have in the community. But we've now opened Heroes Park and McCoy Community Park in the last 6 months, so 2 new great parks down in District 1. With that, we'll move to the consent agenda, and the consent agenda is a number of items acted on through a single vote of council. We give each of our commissioners an opportunity to comment on the consent agenda. We rotate the order that we do that, and Commissioner Hill is first up today.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, it's been a very eventful time here in District 5, along with some of the council members and the mayor. We attended many of the MLK leadership forums and luncheons and the downtown parade, which was great participation. I also represented Mayor Dyer and the council with the NFL Legends at Jones High School. As the mayor stated, the Pro Bowl has been here 3 years now straight, I believe. Four years straight. And each time that they come, they go out into the community and make a major impact in some of our underserved areas. So this year, They have a green sustainability leg of the NFL, and they helped us renovate Jones High School greenhouse, along with our GreenWorks program and football team at Jones High. So I really appreciate what they do. When they do come, they play the game, but they also make sure that they help us with the least of them. I also, on 123, was over in District 6, along with Commissioner Burns. Lisa Early and her group led a community meeting about the new Grand Avenues community centers that we're putting there, and it's just going to be a beautiful project. The Gilbane Group and the architects and staff has done a fabulous job. I can remember when we swapped the land for the new A school there, I was feeling a little lost, like I had lost some land. But that was, I think, the greatest impact, to be able to swap for that school and all the programming that's going to take place for the community there. And that collaborative partnership that we talked about earlier with Orange County to serve some of their kids on the south side of Paramore. And I know, Commissioner, you're going to have a new candy store. That pottery studio is to die for.
It is. We're excited.
And I joined Chief Rolone and our Sheriff Mina over at the Safety Village with the NFL players, and they help do some parking lot striping and painted, I think that the fire building there where they teach kids safety issues. So that's all I have, Mayor. There's one other piece. I know affordable housing is huge. It's a huge need here in the city of Orlando, but statewide. And as you all remember, we were able to purchase three properties there in the Mercer Drive corridor, and we're getting ready to develop Pepper Tree 1 and Pepper Tree Shores, along with Fairlawn Development Group. And so they were out in the community. It was great participation. We had about 80 residents there in the room. And they did something that I had never seen done before at any of these community meetings when we talk about affordable housing. Those that was in attendance, Mayor, they said because of their efforts to come out to hear about this exciting project where it's 3, 2, and 1 bedrooms, and 50% of those units will accommodate homeless and homeless families. But those 80 people that attended, and hopefully it'll be an incentive for others to attend these community meetings, they will get the first option to rent. And that's huge, because most times our affordable developments, soon as it's announced, the wait is there's a 6,000 to 7,000 person waiting list. So I like to commend I think Blue Sky Development for the efforts. Sometime, hindsight is 50-50, but I remember, Mayor, that I was not in support of Blue Sky, and I think Commissioner Gray, you remember that, and you all made a decision to agree for them to be the developers, and I can say thank you all for doing the right thing and making a great decision, and they have been great partners there in that Mercer Drive corner. We got some big plans.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Mm-hmm. Commissioner Burns?
All right, well, good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Over the last week, I've had the opportunity to meet with a lot of the departments, and so I'd like to say kudos to you, Mayor, for the team that you've built. Their excitement and their love for their jobs is apparent through their meetings. Also, I'm finally settled into my office, so thank you. But I do want to thank Stephanie Herdosia from the clerk's office for being so supportive and coordinating my move and being patient with me and my aid in doing so. As Commissioner Hill mentioned, we attended the meeting for the Grand Avenue Community Center, so we're excited about this new asset and resource that will be coming to the Holden Heights community. Also had the opportunity of attending a Richmond Heights Neighborhood Watch meeting. It was a great meeting, January 16th, and I'd like to say thank you, Chief Rolone, for allowing your team to be here. And I just wanted to read out a few of the participants because I think it was well done. They did a great job of energizing or engaging the residents, and it felt real good. So I'd like to say thank you to Deputy Chief Eric Smith, Deputy Chief Jose Velez, Captain James Young, Captain Loretta Quinn Henry, Lieutenant Paul Griffin, Sergeant Ashley Windler, Police Liaison Corporal Kirkpatrick, my new liaison, Officer James West, Detective Mike Fields, Detective Shane Overfield, Detective Matt Rogers, Officer Eduardo Seguno, Communications Specialist Stephanie DeLuca, Neighborhood Watch Specialist Carl Anderson, and Crime Line Specialist Samantha Wheaton. And again, I think they did a great job. And this community watch, a neighborhood watch, is something that we're looking to re-engage in our communities and really put a focus on public safety. Also, the only thing I'd like to end with just saying congratulations to Kevin Edmonds and F.J. Flynn for their new appointments as Chief Administrative Officer and Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, respectively. I know they'll continue to do a great job for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. And thanks for mentioning the opening of the ballpark. It was really a thrill to do it. Commissioner Ortiz was there with us, so thank you for that. Also wanted to thank our team, our staff, for attending the KPMG ribbon cutting for the brand new facility in Lake Nona. If you have not been there and you get an opportunity, I would encourage you to go. It is an absolute palace. They have built a beautiful facility out in Lake Nona. So thanks for the staff for helping with that and including us. And I think Commissioner Burns joined us for that one, and that was great, and Commissioner Ortiz. So thank you for doing that. On the agenda, as I said agenda review, I'm going to vote no, and I would encourage others to give it consideration on item C3. And this one's a little weird because it's in my district, and it's an annexation. It is not the building plans, et cetera, but for me, it's kind of the first step by annexing in to do apartments, and it's currently in the county. The reason I'm opposed to it is kind of a different issue. It is not because the sponsor is not good. This is a great sponsor. The developer is going to do it. I've done business with them before, and they're very good at what they've done. I've seen the site plan. The site plan is good too. So you say, why are you opposed to it, Gray? Well, the reason I am is because of where it's located. It is located on Narcoossee Road, just south of the 417. And as you folks know, we have one north-south artery, and that's Narcoossee Road. As that area develops, we'll have more connectivity, but right now we don't. And that road is overloaded and continues to be overloaded as we build more property. And on top of that, the schools, while I know they're not our purview, the schools are all overcrowded, and we've rezoned twice in the last 5 years, and we'll have to do it again later this year. So it's a tremendous inconvenience to neighbors. Some have said, hey, Gray, it's going to get built in the county anyway. Well, it might, but I guess my question is, why are they coming to the city? If it's going to be done in the county, why don't they just stay in the county? So for me, I'm not quite there yet, and it's not because, again, the bad sponsors or bad product. It's just too fast. We have built so much so rapidly in Lake Nona. It's just choking traffic, and neighbors are really struggling. As I said, it's not just Orlando. All of Osceola County is coming up Narcoossee Road to get to the 417, to the airport, et cetera. So no fault of any one party. It's just a function of all the development, and I just think it's a little bit too soon, given all the other apartments and high-density construction we've got. So other than that, I support the agenda, Mayor, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Ortiz. Commissioner Tony Ortiz.
Hey. Thank you, Mayor. On Tuesday, January 14th, I had the pleasure of meeting Ms. Alexis Salmons, the new Executive Director of Cray 4 West Main Street. I want to thank Sherry Gutch, which here now. Anyhow, thank you for the introduction, and I'm looking forward to continue working with this new Main Street. They're growing and they're prospering, and I'm all excited about all of them all around the city. On Thursday, January 16th, the City of Orlando hosted the first Tri-County League of Cities meeting of the year at Lou Garden, Commissioner Stewart's territory. Thank you for hosting it. We appreciate your hospitality. Thank you to all those who were involved in the success of this great meeting. Mayor Dyer, thank you for swearing everybody in and swearing me in. That was awesome. It was a great honor. It's a great way to kick off another year of advocacy in collaboration with Seminole, Orange, and Osceola County. And for those of you that don't know what the Tri-County League of Cities is, which is probably everybody's going like, what the heck is that? It's where all the municipalities, the 22 municipalities in the Tri-County area, Seminole, Osceola, and Orange, come together. And we work together, this goes for you guys especially, and we work together to make sure that we defend, first of all, what is local control in terms of legislations. When we go to Tallahassee, we make sure that legislations that pertain to our community, we fight for those instead of letting Tallahassee or Washington just do whatever they want to do. We give them, let's say in a different word, we give them advice on what's best for our communities. And so all of the legislators, or most legislators, get together once a month and we decide what's best for our communities. We work together, the three counties, to do better for our communities. On Saturday, January 18th, I walked alongside fellow city employees, and that was fun, in the 36th Annual Martin Luther King Parade. Big kudos to the parade producers, the Southwest Orlando JCs, for another amazing year. I would also like to recognize the After School All-Stars step team for sharing their talents and giving an awesome performance throughout the duration of the parade. That was neat to watch. On Tuesday, January 21st, I attended the Dover Manors Homeowners Association annual meeting. I want to thank Chief Benjamin Barksdale for coming over, introducing yourself to the community, and letting them know what's the updates about the Orlando Fire Department. Thank you, sir. And last but not least, registration is now open for the Government Academy, and the first class will be held on March 31st. Our spring session will be in English. We have one in English and then the other one in Spanish towards the end of the year. So, and this year will mark the 6th year since its beginning in 2014. The course is free. Will run for 11 weeks every Tuesday from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 until June 9th. All are welcome. What the Government Academy is all about is explaining and teaching basically what the basics of our government is, from the federal government all the way down to a local government, judicial system, anything and everything that has to do with government. And it goes along, is a great preamble or a good after the Mayor's Academy. We work in conjunction, and there's a lot to be learned about government and how to work better with our legislators at all levels, and understanding what the government of the United States do for you and what you can do for your government. And with that, sir, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of quick things I want to mention. First, congratulations to you, Tony, as the president of the new Tri-County League of Cities. Looking forward to your leadership, and of course, as president-elect for the state. So thank you very much for what you do for making our city stronger. I want to say a special thanks to Orlando Fire Department. Went out to the hockey, the Battle of the Badges this past week. It was really neat to be out there and be with the guys, but also to see the police and fire from all over the country to come down and play hockey. And it was a lot of fun. Got a chance to see Chief Barksdale there right after you were working that day, I think, right? This past weekend, we had the formal opening of the Harriet's Ballet Center, Harriet's Orlando Ballet Center, I think it's called, over the old youth center location. Excited about that. It's going to do a lot to help our community. They've also added, for those of us who can't do ballet, they've added yoga and other exercise classes that'll be available inside the building. And they've done it for old people like me too, so that'd be great. I want to mention a couple of things coming up. The Florida legislative session, as Tony has alluded to, has started. There will be 800 bills that are filed that will affect our residents and how our local municipalities govern. So I encourage every one of our residents, especially those that are attending with us today, the students, to get involved in the issues, to see what the issues are and how they affect us on a local basis. We get a chance to visit with the leadership of the Florida League of Cities every Monday to see what's going on. And in doing that, we learn about what's the impact it has on us. Home rule, we talk about it here often. Home rule is a big deal. And our citizens want those laws made at the lowest level so they can have the greatest amount of impact. And many of these laws are now being taken and exempting, preempting the rights of the cities. And we want to fight against that. The Art of the Highwayman exhibition started this past week. It'll go through May. Some of y'all are familiar with the Highwayman art. If you aren't, please just look them up on the internet. It is incredibly powerful, and this is a work primarily of African Americans who worked around the state, and this is how they made their living. Now they have become a treasured asset of our state. That's over at the Orlando Museum of Art. The Indie Folk Festival is coming up at Manila Museum, another opportunity to get over at Lock Haven. And then the Orlando Wetlands Festival is a great tradition. It'll be, this year it's on February 15th from 9 to 3. You get a chance to be at Fort Christmas, have a lot of fun, and then take a tour of our wetlands that we have out in the east side of the county. On the agenda today, I just want to congratulate Kevin and FJ for your leadership. Thank you. Mayor, thank you for recognizing their leadership and opportunity to continue to serve. We've got a great staff and very impressed with them in terms of the work that they do. So I want to say thank you and congratulations. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner, and Commissioner Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor. I participated in the solar co-op and just got my panels put on. And I have to tell you, Chris, that was really cool. Took them a day to do it. Of course, I have a metal roof, so it was a lot easier for them to clip it on. But I don't even know how to use it yet, but it's really exciting. I have no idea what's up there and how it works and anything like that. But with the solar co-op, you actually get to buy in bulk with 200 other households. So if you think about it, if you've got 30 panels, multiply it by 200, you're getting a really good deal if you're buying it in bulk. And it really brought the cost down. So I know that, and I've been posting about my solar panels, but I know that we've got a couple hundred to put on. But I'm sure we'll be doing this in the future, and I would encourage anyone, yes, it's an investment, but if you think about it, you'll be generating power for the next 20 to 30 years on your roof. It's pretty exciting. And yeah, sometimes you got to make decisions in terms of what you purchase and everything like that. I'm going to be buying less cool jackets and shoes. But I think it's a really good investment, and I can't wait to share. But I want to thank Chris Castro for his leadership on that, because I know not everybody's probably going to get it installed in a day, but because I had a metal roof, it really went on fast, and it was super cool. And the panels actually were generating. The guys pulled me aside and said, "Look up there. There's this modulator, and if it lights up in red, it's already generating electricity." So I'm like, "Wow, you just put it up, and it's already generating electricity," which is pretty exciting. So I don't know how to use it yet. Don't ask me any questions. All I know is it's pretty cool. All right, I will. You can explain explain it to me. Thank you, Chris. But yeah, and I would encourage anyone. I did put it on my commissioner's site, and I did put it on my personal page, and I know we put it all over the city sites. But when you get an opportunity, y'all look into it. You don't have to sign up right away. I had to make some decisions, in terms of whether it would work for me. But if you get a chance to just check it out, it really was a really neat process, and I'm sure we'll be doing more in the future. And as the city goes green, I think it's an important thing for us to do. So thank you very much. On the agenda today, I also want to congratulate Kevin Edmonds and FJ Flynn. Look forward to continuing work with you. You guys do such a good job. And, I think that was a really good decision to make. And on the agenda today, my big item, of course, is item K2, $50,000 from my District 4 capital improvement funds will be going to the Orlando Land Trust. It will be the last contribution made once we make sure we get, that the money's all raised. Yes, the CFO is going, yes, make sure you do that caveat. But this is actually, I think it's important. We've made a lot of really good investments to Lake Eola Park. And this council has been great to District 4. We've added an acre and a half on Washington Street and stopped a 17-story development. We bought Constitution Green. I understand that I can't keep coming to my colleagues asking you all for millions of dollars. So I encouraged this group with Lynn Long and Eugene Yosefchik and Ted Haddock to form an organization, because if you buy the land, you can control what happens, and they wanted to stop large-scale development happening at the corner of Washington and Central. And they worked with the person who owns it, Mr. Merle, and came up with a deal where they could purchase it. And our wonderful friends at the Trust for Public Land are helping us yet again. They helped us with the Orlando Urban Trail, with buying Constitution Green, and with adding to Lake Eola Park on the other side, and they're continuing to partner with us to do wonderful things. This is my contribution and the District 4 contribution of $50,000, but we still have a lot of money to raise. It's over $3 million to purchase the property. But it's important, I think, to show that if we want green space in the city of Orlando, the only way to really do that is to own it. And the way to own it is through this process. And I'm sure the Orlando Land Trust will be working with other opportunities once we raise the money for this to find park spaces that we can work on to dedicate it to our citizens in perpetuity. I want to thank you all for everything that you have done to make this happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for the council for allowing me to put this on the agenda today. I wanted to do it publicly because it's a lot of money. In case anybody had any problems or concerns with that, I'm delighted to say that I don't see any. And with that, I will move the consent agenda.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and so the motion carries. Without objection, we'll recess the City Council meeting and we will convene the CRA meeting. First item of business is meeting minutes from the CRA December 9th, 2019.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Hill. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, Thomas, number 2.
The CRA today is approving a downtown commercial and residential building improvement program funding agreement between the CRA and 150 North Orange Owner LLC for property located at for property located at 150 North Orange Avenue. For most of you, I'd like to remind you, and for Commissioner Burns, and welcome, I'd like to point out that this program provides assistance with costs related to exterior physical improvements and/or what we call building stabilization improvements to any building throughout the entire downtown CRA. The program provides for the CRA to reimburse 50% of the cost up to a not to exceed of $100,000 in the North Quarter area, Eola, and the Central Business District planning areas. The application before you today is 150 North Orange Owner LLC, and they've applied for that building. The building is typically known as the AECOM building. You've probably seen it. They're requesting funding for storefront windows, storefront doors, windows, and HVAC. The investment proposed on this application is just over $390,000, and that's part of an overall $3+ million redo of the building. The grant review committee met December 18th of last year and recommended funding at the level of $100,000. This is a before picture or a current picture of the building, and this is what the building is to be after the proposed improvements. There's no question, based on the recommendation of the grant committee, staff is requesting approval of the Downtown Commercial and Residential Building Improvement Program funding agreement between the Community Redevelopment Agency and 150 North Orange Owner LLC for 150 North Orange Avenue, subject to review and approval of the City Attorney's Office, and authorizing the Chair of the CRA and the Executive Director to execute such funding agreement.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Further business, Thomas?
There's none there. Thank you.
Then without objection, we'll stand adjourned from the CRA meeting and we will reconvene the City Council meeting. Hearings, ordinances, second reading, Madam Clerk, number 1.
Ordinance 2019-62, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the Florida Hospital Health Village Plan Development Zoning Ordinance to add approximately 2.1 acres of land to the Plan Development Zoning District, such land being generally located east of I-4, west of Mills Avenue, and south of Wilkinson Street, providing a conforming legal description and map of Health Village composition and development criteria, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, permit disclaimer, and effective date.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify relating to this matter? Discussion among commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance 2020-2, an ordinance of the Code of the City of Orlando, Florida relating to the business taxing schedule, specifically amending Section 36.35 entitled Enumeration to provide for a reduced business tax levy for automated teller machines, providing legislative findings and for codification, correction of scrivener's errors, severability, and effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify relating to this matter? Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, number 3.
Ordinance 2020-3, an ordinance of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending Chapter 53 of the Code of the City of Orlando entitled Municipal Public Service Tax, deleting Section 53.0481 to remove the exemption for purchases of alternative fuel to be consistent with applicable Florida statutes, renumbering Section 53.048, providing for severability, codification, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Anyone from the public would like to testify on this matter or discussion among commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, number 4.
Ordinance 2020-5, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending Chapter 39 of the City Code regarding hours and days of operation of parking meters and parking meter technology, providing legislative findings and for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. Is there anyone from the public that would like to testify related to this matter? I do have one card, Luana Gelser.
Luana Gelser, 7674 St. Stephen's Court, Orlando, 32835. Mayor Dyer, I come before you today because it's getting very difficult to get information on just basic ordinance, maps. I just placed a call in. What is the downtown area? Usually there's maps so you can identify what is going on. But because some of us have businesses near venues, I was very concerned to see what the application would be towards parking around the venues. So based on the information, I just need to know what the downtown area is. If there's a map, I placed a phone call to extension 3766 and Pamela, hopefully she'll get back with me. It's very hard to determine because I'm here to tell you as a citizen, with all the updates on the city website, is failing your citizens. I'm being told now to go to the official weekly calendar to know when there's meetings. But the agendas and the attachments are not there. Today, you had a workshop, but it's not on Novus. Therefore, I showed up at 1:45 to speak on a consent agenda item. And I've had a pleasant conversation with the city clerk staff, but it's a continual basis that information, I can't talk for anybody else. I can only talk for Luana Gelser. My time is valuable, just like your time is valuable. But when I can't get basic information, when I go online to pull it up, and I know you're making updates, but making updates and missing information. So the map was not attached, therefore I do not know what the downtown area is, how will it apply to any businesses in the Paramount community, because you just recently made changes to parking. I looked at meters and all of you making a few changes, but it's not enough information on what I was able to ascertain. Therefore, I had to come. And because I'm here, I want to go on record. Everything now that I'm requesting public, I just had to pay y'all $73.08. Might not seem like a lot. For $1.15 minutes, $1.83, $1.65 for copies. It's just too much. I am waiting for additional information. It will not deter this citizen from getting that information. But what it says, as a multi-billion-dollar governmental agency, we got to do better for our citizens. So I just need a copy of the map, because clearly this is the second reading. And I know you're making changes, but I don't even know what the boundaries are to make make a plea to say maybe we should look at it differently. So I'm just here going on record. We got to do better with the public requesting and the information that the citizens, nobody else might not want it, but these citizens do. And I usually can get a map and know what the boundaries are to make a determination if it will affect me or others. Thank you, Mayor Dyer.
Okay, and then as to the workshop, we had 40 or 50 residents that came to that, so it must have been adequately noticed for them to appear. I don't know. Madam Clerk, did we have a notice related to the public hearing?
It was on the calendar, the official
It was
calendar.
only on the
Okay.
weekly calendar. It was
Okay.
not where I was
Thank
told
you.
to look.
Let's see. Okay, anybody else who would like to speak on this matter? Discussion among commissioners, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, ordinances on first reading, number 1, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance 2020-9, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending Chapter 18A, Parks and Outdoor Public Assemblies of the Code of the City of Orlando by amending Section 18A.01, definitions to correct Scrivener's errors, amending Section 18A.02 to change hours of operation for various parks and adding 2 new parks, and to correct Scrivener's errors, amending Section 18A.06 to change park hours, amending Section 18A.09 to correct Scrivener's errors, providing for codifications, severability, correction of Scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. Is there anyone from the public like to speak on this? Luana Gelser. And Eric Brown has yielded his time to you, so you have 10 minutes.
I don't think I'm gonna need that much time, Mayor. Luana Gelser, 7674 St. Stephen Court, Orlando, 32835. I start off by saying I understand we have to make changes and update, but my question today is why are we making these changes, or what made us make these changes? I pulled up some of the parks, but I was very concerned about 3 parks. The removal of the Paramore Heritage Park. And that was located at 726 West Central. And if anybody don't know what that was originally, that was the north and south retention pond. North Pond was filled in, and we had received $6 million in federal funds. And the South Pond was a commercial retention pond in a community, because we had to have somewhere for the water to go once you put the soccer stadium on the top of Paramore. Then you're changing the operation time of Checker Park. Might not disagree with you, just want to know why today. Then you're changing the closing time and a lot of things that happen at ZL Riley Park, literally right across the street, not down the street. These 3 parks are in the Paramore community, which is only a 1.4 square mile radius community. My concern is you're changing some other prohibited activities in the park, especially Checker Park. Sleeping, lying around. My concern is who is going to enforce these rules? What will be the penalty if someone failed to abide by these rules? And why not? It's because Paramore is beginning to change the dynamics, the population, because we complained for many years about the activities of Checker Park. So my concern is it might be warranted, but why today and why now, 2020, and not when 1985 and 2000, when a lot of us complaining. And I say this because I know Checker Park is a thorn to a lot of people. But Checker Park is a place where a lot of people who are homeless hang out. And statistically speaking, the population of African Americans in the United States is 13%. However, the homeless population of the United States of African Americans is 40%. Are we concentrating our areas, our enforcement on communities of color because the dynamics of the population have changed. And I'll be honest, is it because of the hue is changing, the color of the skin of the people? I hope not. But I have followed the pattern of this council for quite some time. And we are still ranked a high number, almost number one in the country for lack of affordable housing and also for a homeless problem. So I might understand your need to make these changes. I say why I question it is why today, who's going to enforce it? And the reason why I'm concerned about enforcement, because zip code 32805 is over police as it is. You got enough cameras, you got enough bank officers, you got a lot of things going on in that community today. So I'm wondering, is this going to help those who are struggling because they're homeless and have nowhere to go? Are we going to now put somebody in, incarcerate somebody up to 30 days? None of that is here. Who's going to enforce this and what would the penalties be? Because people break the law. It doesn't matter if they know about it or not. If you break the law, you break the law. So your officers or whoever is enforcing it have to abide. But can we do a better job of letting the people know what we can do to help them? So I say in closing, because I said I didn't need that much time, is why today? Why once again in Paramore? And if you don't went from 20,000 people down to 4,500, I'll give you an extra 5,000 people. With all the revitalization, all the changes in Paramore, why do we still have these problems in our community? We have these problems in our community because of failed policies. No matter what your intentions are, you have failed that community. You have failed that community. So I say in closing, Mayor Dyer, if it's to make the community safer, the environment, can we work with those who work with the homeless to make sure people are not penalized because they have nowhere else to go? And if these changes are up, you got to do it. Give it a time frame that we ease into it. We don't just start it day one, enforcing it hard, using people as examples. So I say this in closing, Mayor Dyer. You have done wonderful things in the Paramore community, but who did it benefit? And I clearly can say, as a business owner in the Paramore community, it has not benefited a lot of us. A lot of you have. Now, since I got a few more minutes, Mayor Dyer, because I missed the what you had on the consent agenda, I lead by saying this. October 2018, I came before you and asked for a forensic audit of the Paramore Kid Zone. I stand before you, enough is enough. Check, you commissioners. Check. You just authorized another person to be hired by Paramore Kid Zone. Ask how many kids really there. LaWanda has the proof. Using the same address, paying for staff double time. He's getting paid, he resigns, he comes back and get his job. We pay for his apartment, $900 a month. All of that information you guys can get. If I got it, you can get it. We're paying for staff currently. We bought them furniture. If it's to help the kids from the Paramore community, I'm for you. But check and see who we're really helping. Do the forensic audit. Do the forensic audit. Because at this point, I don't have it. We have had it in the community, seeing the double standards of people receiving benefits that was earmarked for a community that has suffered over the years. And I know, I used to run a cheerleading and football program. 500 kids came through my program. And I can clearly say, not one teen pregnancy. But if you do a forensic audit, you'll see that we gave, unfortunately, Planned Parenthood quite a bit of money. pull the information up. I have been fair, and I've given you the opportunity. I will not be afraid. You can send whoever you want to. You can try to intimidate me. You can do what you did to my child care facility, took us off the list, told everybody they had to go to Mr. Rosen. I can't prove. But you are using federal and state funds, which is a violation. So the people who gave the federal and state funds, I filed the complaint with them. So you know what's going on in Paramount Kids Zone. And then when someone abuses sister, when I mentioned 120 Garden Street, we paid someone's family member rent that never lived in Paramore. And I got the lease and the check number. Do something. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. That's all the appearance request cards I have for this. Discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? So the motion carries. All right, that is all the official business for the Orlando City Council today.